Hello everyone and welcome to Unmapped Vacations YouTube channel. Today we'll be airing our first episode and I have Deeksha with me.
Hello.
And we'll be taking you through the first episode, what it is, what are we going to talk about. You'll come to know soon, so stick along.
So, welcome, guys. This is Samir. My name is Deeksha, and he is one of the best travel agents that we know and a very, very dear friend. So, we will be taking you guys along to different locations and different places and
stories, experiences, and some fun factors as well, which keep happening,
Of course.
which have not been documented. A lot of people have told us, "कि अरे तुम्ही सांगत का नाही?" कि so many things happen on trip, so many fun things, so many what do you say, behind the scene things. So all of that will be being shown. And
Yes.
that is what we are going to be doing. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, welcome. And Samir, I would like to ask you because now we are going to get into like travel and fun parts and fun stories. What made you start this? What inspired you to be a travel agent but also a companion to people you take along with you
Right.
to these journeys?
Three Idiots.
Wow.
Jokes apart. Actually, I was pursuing my CA, but back in 2010, I realized that CA is not something that I was made for. And before that, I was traveling quite a bit. My first trip was to Bandhavgarh National Park way back in 2006. And I think that kind of changed my outlook, and it also made me aware about what I really want to do in my career or what I really want to become. So that Bandhavgarh trip was something that really changed the way I looked at travel. And then I joined a company where I used to do volunteering work. And in 2010, I finally decided that this is what I really want to do. This is that something that comes very naturally to me. And because of that, suddenly there were no Monday blues as well. So 2010 is when I took the big step to shift my career from becoming a CA to becoming a travel agent. And then 2015, after I worked, got some experience, gained knowledge, I started out with my own company, which was called Globe and Beyond. Slowly, we started progressing. Then COVID hit us, unfortunately. But that is when one of my friends, a dear friend actually, Devendra, he had also started his company called by the name Aranyamie Wilderness Safaris, which basically looks after the entire wildlife segment. And then since the two of us knew each other, we thought, why not just come together, make it a big company. आम्ही गमतीत म्हणतो की लोकांना असंही कळलं पाहिजे की दोन कोकणस्थ रादर दोन ब्राह्मण येऊन पण धंदा करू शकतात असं आम्ही मजेत म्हणतो. तो ॲक्च्युली तो पण एक फॅक्टर होता की रादर देन पुलिंग इच अदर्स लेग अँड गोईंग अगेन्स्ट इच अदर, वाय नॉट जस्ट जॉईन हँड्स, come together and form a company, or rather we formed an LLP, which is how the name came up, Unmapped Vacations. So Unmapped Vacations is basically an LLP between Aranyamie Wilderness Safaris led by Devendra and Globe and Beyond, which was my baby. So the idea behind that was, it's like what Paresh Rawal said, ऑमलेट के लिए पाव भी मैं ही दूंगा. So it's like that if you want to travel, then this is going to be like your one-stop shop. So be it wildlife, be it your customized trips, be it visa processing, be it air ticketing, be it treks, be it any adventure trip, whatever you want to do with respect to travel, this is the place you have to come to.
Nice. You said your first travel was in 2006, right?
Yes.
Did you have a travel agent then, or did you?
Actually, I did. Actually, I did. Because I knew that I don't want to get into the search part of it. Because it's a task. I mean, if you come to think about it, people who plan their own trips, you can ask them. They really have to spend a lot of time Acha, you are like that. So you would know how much time you need to spend on Google,
Yes.
the research part, finding the right destinations, getting to know what exactly you want to see in them, because આજકાલ there's so much of information available. So
Yeah.
it can get a little confusing or overwhelming. So going to a travel agent, which is what I did back in 2006, just makes things a lot easy.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're doing. They have their research done already.
Correct.
They also have experiences by being there to those places before.
Yeah.
So they're able to tell you about the practical nuances that you might come across. So yeah, so 2006 I went through a travel agent. In fact, it is that company which I joined later on, where I
Right.
worked for a while, and then I started out on my own. So yeah, it helps to go through a travel
Yeah,
agent.
because I am that kind of a person who calls all my friends to ask about, अच्छा इकडे जायचंय तर काय करू?
Right.
How am I supposed to, for example, if I'm traveling international, it is a hassle to get a visa
Yeah,
these
it is,
days.
it
And
is.
if you put that on yourself to apply, to go to the company, to give your paperwork,
Yeah.
all those things. So I've been through the hassle where I don't. See, you can Google everything. You have Instagram,
Yes.
you have
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
But yes, I lack that support.
Yeah.
कि अगर
No.
कुछ लगता है तो I need to have somebody. I can't call the visa office. कि dude,
Correct.
what happened? How
Yeah.
long is it going to take? Or
Correct.
whatever. Which ticket should I book for myself?
Yeah.
And especially if I'm traveling with my parents, for example, it's better to have somebody who can guide me
Correct.
to make it a wholesome family trip.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Otherwise, we can, like you said, we can get lost.
Yeah. So
into
in
the
fact,
web.
like you rightly said, there are platforms available online. It's not like you shouldn't be doing trips on your own. You can definitely do, but you need to understand the time taken, the effort that you have to
Yeah.
put through, and knowing the right things behind it. For example, like you mentioned about getting the visa. So off late, we have been getting a lot of people saying, "Arey, we are not able to book this appointment. Can you do it for us?" And then I'm like, "Okay, welcome to our world," because
And
this
also,
is
sorry to cut you off, but nowadays there's a lot of talk about visa-free
oh yeah,
countries for
yeah,
Indians.
yeah.
We only see that on Instagram,
Correct,
so we
correct.
actually don't know how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get there. Which
Correct.
countries can I actually go and then get the visa?
Yeah, actually, visa free. Technically, you can say visa free.
Yeah.
Like for example, recently Kenya came up with this declaration that now
Yeah.
it is visa free.
Yeah.
But what they have done, which slowly people will now start knowing also about it, is you still have to get an ETA done, which is an electronic travel authorization. Which is a simple process. You go to the official Kenyan website, upload your documents, and it can be done. Same is for Sri Lanka. Although you say that Sri Lanka is visa free for Indians, but you still have to have an ETA. So, and if you don't have that ETA, then
You'll
you are
be
going to
sent
be
back.
surprised. Yeah.
I have a funny, matlab, it didn't happen with an Indian, but a German friend of mine, he traveled to India and then he found out that he needed a visa to enter India.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So then that was like a eye-opener
Right.
for me as well, because for Indians, we have to have
Correct.
visas
Yeah.
traveling everywhere. But for a German, it was such a surprise. He was like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, but the good thing is for most foreigners, what India has done is they have given the opportunity to get an e-visa done.
Correct.
Which is a fairly simple process
Yeah,
as compared to say maybe the other visas that we have to apply.
Yeah.
But yeah, so travel agent, that's where he comes into the picture.
Definitely.
In fact, even for Thailand, a lot of people know that Thailand is visa free for Indians, but now they have come up with another small documentation process which you have to do, which is a Thailand e-card. A Thailand card which you have to fill out 3 days prior to your departure, and you have to show that to the immigration officer.
It's so amazing you have the information right off the bat, because otherwise I'll have to Google. I need to
Yes.
if I just give you a country, you might
Correct.
have the answer of visa, or even locally, if I want to travel domestic, you will have all the information.
Correct,
You can
correct.
just provide it to me without me getting confused or, don't know where to look for information.
Correct.
So you are that one stop for people like me and many of us.
So, Diksha, you are somebody who you say you prefer to plan things on your own. So, I would like to know from your point of view that what is it that stops people from going to a travel agent? Is there any, what do you say, apprehension, or is there any thought process that goes that they prefer to do trips on their own rather than go to a travel agent?
Yeah. So there are, I think, 2 or 3 factors. I can speak for myself. What has happened in the past is we think that it is expensive to go through a travel agent,
Okay.
which is, I think, it's a myth because we're having these
Right.
conversations.
Yes.
Um, and second thing is because it is such a packed schedule of a trip that if you go somewhere international for 10 days or 15 days, my fear is that I won't able to see everything that I want to see. A travel agent would just, hit all the famous whatever
Right.
destinations and that would be it. I won't be able to explore the new country or city wherever I'm traveling. So that is a fear that most of us go through. And then I would like to have the freedom to, that's the reason, that's one of the major reasons why I don't go through a travel agent. Not anymore, but I used to in the past. Is that I would like to have the freedom. If I want to just chill in one place for 2 days, I would want to do that and not be dependent on the
Right.
scheduled
Right.
trip.
Right.
So yeah, but correct us if we are wrong that it is expensive to go through a travel agent because that's
No,
what
it's
has
not really
been.
expensive to go through a travel agent.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably will be a negligible difference, to be very honest. But then that negligible difference basically comes down to the expertise and the service that the travel agent is going to provide. Because end of the
Yeah.
day, he is also there to make some money and
Of
run his
course.
own house. So if at all, it's a negligible difference considering the amount that you are anyways going to be investing in. But the biggest help that you would probably get from a travel agent is the time and effort that you have to put through. That already is being done by the travel agent through his experience, through the kind of sources he has, and through the kind of connects that he has.
Yeah.
So, if you are planning a trip on your own, you maybe might take 2, 3, 4, 5 days, depending upon how long your trip is going to be.
More.
But that same trip, a travel agent will probably get it planned for you in a day's time or maximum 2 days' time.
Yeah.
So that is the added advantage, which saves you time, which saves you effort, and most importantly, it lets you enjoy your trip with a what do you say, a clean slate of mind, where you don't have to worry about, oh, whether have I booked this rightly or not, whether my dates that I've booked are correct, whether I've booked the right accommodation, what time is it going to get cancelled, do I need to change it, in case if there is any issue
Yeah.
that comes up. Then doing things on your own, then you're basically investing that time in making the right corrections rather than enjoying your trip. But if you've booked it through a travel agent, you're just a phone call away in getting those things changed. So you're going to save time. Yes, obviously, he will also take a little bit of time to get it changed. But at the same time, you know that you have your back covered, so you can still continue to enjoy your trip. And once you're done with your day course or seeing the things that you have planned to see that day, when you come back, you know your things are taken place and that whatever issues or errors are there, they have been corrected.
For example, if I want to, let's say I want to go to Paris and the itinerary says that I'm going to be there for 3 days. But what if I want to stay there for like 5 days, 6 days? Can
Correct.
it be done? And that's where I think your expertise and your
Correct.
help will come in.
Definitely.
Right.
So, in fact, when you approach a travel agent, the first few things that generally a good travel agent will ask you is, what do you exactly want to do on your trip? Because unless and until he understands that and he gets to know what exactly is that interests you, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, what is the duration that you have, and eventually what is the budget that you're looking at. So customization can be done 100%. In fact, our company does customization more rather than doing conducted, because I am a firm believer of that when you go on a holiday, you should be able to enjoy that holiday the way you want,
Correct.
rather than you being dictated or you following a set pattern.
Correct.
I mean, there are certain destinations where these things have to be done, because, for example, Northern Lights. When you go to see Northern Lights, you have to follow a certain itinerary. You really can't deviate much from it, because otherwise you won't get to see the Northern Lights.
Of course.
So in that case, maybe doing a conducted trip probably makes more sense. But if you otherwise want to see a destination, like you mentioned Paris, or like you want to go see, say, Italy, or you want to see Germany, you want to see Switzerland, or even within India, you want to go to Northeast, you want to see Gujarat, then I personally believe that having a customized itinerary gives you more time, more freedom to enjoy the places the way you want. Now, there are two thoughts to this. You can have a conducted trip and still enjoy the way you want it to, because then your needs or your ideas for that trip are basically
go see the
linked to that.
touristy places.
Tick mark things, bucket list things that we normally say.
Right.
So you can maybe in that case do a conducted trip, because then you also like to go and meet new people. You like to travel in a group. So for that, doing a conducted trip makes more sense. It also becomes a lot more economical, because then your costs are shared.
Right.
But when you're talking about a customized trip, because it's just the two of you or just you or a smaller group, the economics can change. But then you have the freedom to enjoy the trip the way you want. So it's basically two school of thoughts. So you need to understand where you are fitted into it. If you are somebody who wants the freedom, who doesn't want to get up, have breakfast in one country, lunch in another, and dinner in another, then customization is for you. But if you're okay with traveling with a group, going on a fixed schedule, seeing only certain things, and also enjoying sabudana vada at Mount Titlis, then
you get sabudana vada there.
Oh, you can get batata vada also nowadays. So then conducted trips is the way to go, because you get that specifications on those trips. So it depends. So that is where a travel agent actually comes into picture, because he'll ask you these questions. He'll try and make sure that the trip that you're going to is going to be the best trip that you have been on.
But that is such a relief to know this, because most because most of the times it is understood or imagined or believed कि I will go approach a travel agent and he will or she will just give me an itinerary and book everything, and this is it. Like, I wouldn't have any room to have a say in the trip that I want to go on.
Actually, no. I mean, that is where customization basically comes into picture. So customization is the trip is planned the way you want it, the things that you want to see, you want to do, and in your budget. If people have this fear, or if they think that travel agent kade gela ki हेच करायला मिळेल, this is what we'll get to do, and in this time only. So it's not like that. Like I said, you need to understand what kind of a traveler you are, and then accordingly you can get your trip planned absolutely from scratch to end the way you want it.
No, and you can also give them this suggestion ki, okay, if you're going here, let's take Paris as example. The kind of person I am, I would like to go around the city as well, and not just go see Eiffel Tower. But you can also suggest ki, okay, if you're going that far, might as well, tick all those obvious touristy things. But also you can explore other parts of the city or country.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are so many people. In fact, post-COVID, we have seen a lot of people who want to do customized trips with their friends, or especially with their families. And then that trip happens exactly the way they want it. So of late, we have done a lot of customized trips where people have done nothing for 2 days at a particular place. They just want to sit, enjoy the local culture, move around, roam the streets, enjoy the local food, and then maybe move on to the next destination. So we do get a lot of people like that also nowadays. So customization or conducted trips, both can be done by a travel agent. It's just that you as a traveler need to understand where you want to be placed.
Because a similar thing had happened with me and my family. We had gone to Dubai on our own. We didn't have I have an agent guiding us. And after going there, we figured out that, oh my God, we could have skipped the museum part of it. There's a MoMA, I
Correct.
think MoMA is there in Abu Dhabi. Only I was interested in that part because I was like, oh my God, MoMA in Abu Dhabi, of course, I want to go see everything. But then that could have been somebody telling us, ki guys, it's a family trip, might
Yeah.
as well skip this and
Correct.
instead go do that. Because what had happened was, after going there, we found out, I forget the name of the big mosque that is there in
The
Abu Dhabi Mosque.
Sheikh
And-
Zayed Mosque.
हाँ. So तिकडे गेल्यानंतर we found out कि there's this huge, gorgeous mosque.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it closes at a certain time.
Correct.
And we were at this museum and we all were so
Oh.
hassled. We were like, oh my God, why did we come here? We could have gone to the mosque directly. Luckily, we could catch it because it closes at like 10 or 11 in the night.
Yeah.
So we finished really quickly, finished the museum part and directly went to the mosque. So that would have been such a
Absolutely.
great
In fact,
thing for
it's
us.
also good to avoid going there on a Friday.
True, because it's gonna be
And
crowded.
the other thing is, I personally suggest people to go see the mosque in the evening because the way it's lit up, it's outstanding. I mean, I was lucky to go there. I have some amazing pictures, and it was wow. I
It
mean,
is
to
so
see that mosque with those lightings is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
Even the castle that
Oh,
there.
yes.
Oh, it's just too gorgeous. We can go on. It's one of my favorite trips.
So yeah, so these practical nuances that we just spoke, this is something that you probably may not get reading a blog or maybe doing
Yeah.
a research online. This comes through experience, and this is where your travel agent, again we stress on it, the travel agent plays a big role in how your trip. So I always say that your trip is defined by those finer points or those minute experiences or those offbeat destinations or places which you can go and see and explore, which otherwise you would have missed out on.
100%. I have many such really stressful, really getting stuck somewhere and not knowing what to do. I have many such.
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage of a travel agent also is in case you have some issues or if you want to change something, you can just pick up your phone and dial and you have somebody saying, hello, how can I help you immediately, rather than listening to आपका कॉल हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है.
That and imagine yourself getting stuck in a country where you can't speak the language.
Yes.
This has happened with me.
Yes, exactly.
So we were so lucky to have somebody with us who could speak that language.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we were stranded at 2 a.m. in a completely new country where nobody knew English.
Ouch.
And yeah, so I'm telling you, I've had some crazy, really.
And imagine your phone switching off and you don't have Google Translator also.
So no, we don't want that happening. So henceforth, guys, we have people like Samir to guide us and, really your lifesavers.
Yeah,
Because
no,
otherwise
it makes a big difference. I mean, the minute you come out of the airport and you see somebody smiling, holding up your name placard, and you're like, okay.
Thank God, yeah.
You know there's somebody who's going to guide you
Look
around.
after you.
And
Yeah.
as opposed to you get out of the airport and you're like looking for, okay, where's the bus that I need to catch? Or where's the taxi where I can get from? Or do I get an Uber from here?
Yes.
So, you're already losing out on time rather than enjoying. So, yeah, I mean,
So I can totally relate to this part where you are lost, you don't know which bus to take, what to do.
correct.
So the country we were stuck in was Germany.
Okay.
We weren't stuck actually. It was a miscommunication between us and the Airbnb guy. When we got there, we got out of the train station and we saw all these really gorgeous Mercedes and all these expensive cars I don't even know the names of. And we were like, okay, let's not book these because I don't want to pay extra. So let's try and find a different, cheaper version
Correct.
of a taxi. So I thought I've booked a normal taxi and I did. And then there's a convertible Mercedes coming, picking us up. And we were like blown away. Like, what is this? How is a taxi convertible in Germany? Like, where are we? So like all these, it's a good experience also that
correct, yeah.
it bursts myths.
Right.
And it also humbles you in a lot of ways where you're like, oh my God, I should know a lot of these things. But
Yeah,
such
like you
things
said, small things
happen.
that make a difference. So yeah,
Yeah, so such experiences have, and they stay with you. And
definitely,
also in a good
definitely.
way and a bad way also. But have you had your trip companions? I don't want to call them customers because it makes it
Participants.
participants. Yeah. Have you had any funny or really like distressed
Oh,
calls
so
or
many. We can have separate episodes on those.
oh no.
So yeah, we do get quite a few enquiry calls where we also at times are challenged whether we know our geography right or not. So
What? Like, can you
just
give us an
yeah, so
example?
uh, we had a rather I had a phone call where they had 3 days, I think. Yeah, they had 3 days with them, and they wanted to see Statue of Unity in Gujarat, and then from there they wanted to see Ram Mandir. And they just had 3 days, and for a second I was
Oh
like, aren't they
no.
in two different states altogether?
Oh no.
I actually had to open Google Maps just to make sure I'm thinking right, because for a minute I was stunned that how can somebody say, okay, I have 3 days and I want to see the Statue of Unity and Ram Mandir, and I have only 3 days. And I was like, actually, do you know? I had to ask the person that, they are in two different states and that you'll probably need 4 days because the connectivity is
Yeah.
also not very nice. Because
Yeah.
one is in Gujarat, the other is in Lucknow.
Yeah.
And then there are flights, but the timings are such that you're going to waste an entire day only in traveling. So yeah, I mean, you do get some funny calls at times, but most of the times, thankfully nowadays, because people have the access to the internet,
Yeah.
you get well informed calls. So people are fairly clear with what they want. So that also makes our job easy,
Yeah.
because they're very clear with what they want. So then we just have to make sure we put that in place.
Yeah.
Just join the
Guide
pieces
them. Yeah.
and send them.
Yeah. So nice. But yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, we can have probably 4 or 5 episodes on such kind of
100%. 100%.
experiences, which are also good because then they let you know that there are people who still at times are confused with what is where and what they want to see and how they can go about it. And also it brings out a lighter moment in the otherwise stressful work that
Yeah,
you tend
because
to
that's
have.
what happens. You want to go on a trip hassle free, stress free, you want to go have fun. But then people like me who've not had an agent, helping or holding their hands through it, it becomes a stressful experience. So
It does, it
then to
does.
avoid all that,
Yeah.
it's better to have somebody like you who can
Correct.
just, go, jao, जी लो अपनी जिंदगी
Ja
type.
Simran ja.
Exactly. So, so we talked about people not knowing their geography or something, but have you had calls or experiences where people have assured you or made you feel, okay, this is why I do this?
Oh, thankfully, and touch wood, we have had quite a few calls like that. And where I feel proud is there have been times where people have even gone on to acknowledge Ajinkya in our office,
Nice.
who is our office assistant, who does all the hard work. He's the behind the scene guy. He will go around, get your visa documents done, he'll fill out your visa forms, he'll go submit them if needed. He'll go take Xeroxes, printouts, all
Wow.
of that work which otherwise gets overshadowed by people who are in the front. So that is something that really makes me proud, where people have gone and even acknowledged his small role in
But a
their
very
trip becoming
important role.
a good trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, thankfully, and in fact, such kind of phone calls or reviews is what keeps us in place also, which lets us know that okay, this is possible only because we are grounded and we are not
Yeah.
going too ahead of us. So yeah, thankfully. There have been quite a few like that, and hopefully we'll continue on that lines only.
It's like this, na. We think that only actors or certain people from sets, but it's not that. It's a teamwork.
Correct.
Everyone puts in their work, and every department is equally important.
Yes, absolutely,
So that's
absolutely.
a great two industries coming together and creating this.
So in fact, here I would also like to inform. At times, it's not like we don't make mistakes. Of course, we do
course.
make mistakes. We are also humans, and the clients are also aware of that, because at times there have been situations where there have been mistakes from our part. But it's how you respond.
Yeah.
It's how any travel agent responds to that situation is what defines whether they move on and accept your apology. So it happens. Things do go up and down.
Yeah.
The speed at which you make sure that things get corrected is again what instills that confidence in them that okay, they are also human. They could have made a mistake, but then they were very prompt in getting those things corrected.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. Yeah, I mean, it's not like every trip is absolutely picture perfect
Flawless.
and flawless. There are small niggles here and there, but as long as they are niggles, it's okay, and nothing has gone gross level wrong. You are fine. But yeah, like I said, it's how every travel agent takes the effort in making sure that in case there is a blip or there's any issue, how he reacts to it, how quickly he reacts to it. I think that also is very important.
I think you saying this right off the bat is such a it's such a great assurance for people like me. Otherwise, it's really difficult for people to accept this, that we are humans, small things could go wrong, and to say it and acknowledge it is a much bigger quality to have.
In fact, to be honest, it's this job or is this company that I started that has taught me this. That, it's the more honest you are, the more upfront you are, and the more humble you are, people appreciate that a lot more. So that is something that I have learned from this industry and from this business or work or job, whatever you can call that I
because
do.
people come there with, puppy eyes, and a lot of people come there to spend money, but that is a lot of their saving that they're trying to invest in a trip.
Absolutely.
So it's good to have somebody like you who is going to be like, guys, I'm here.
Correct.
Chill. You'll have the best time of your life, because it's so good to have a friend in you. Of course, you can't be friends with every person
Correct.
that you take along with you, but
again, I'll
have
cut
that
you.
vibe is-
But thankfully, again, over the years, almost all of our clients, I'll have to say here, are now friends.
Yay.
And I think that is one of the biggest awards that we have got, because literally they come back as friends rather than as clients.
Yeah.
And there are so many of them like that. So we are really grateful for that. So yeah, you can say that they are friends now.
Great. So on that note, we are going to play a little quiz.
Arre bapre.
So let me get the phone sliding towards me. So guys, we will have a quiz section towards the end of every episode, where both of us will ask each other questions. We will test each other's geography per se, and you'll get to know more about us.
Right.
What to do during travels, what not to do. So here we are. So I have my first question ready for you. Or do you want to go?
There you go.
Okay. So my first quiz question of the first episode is, what country has a tradition where people eat KFC on Christmas?
Oh wait, I think I might know about this. I think it's Southeast Asian country. Is it Japan? I think it's Japan.
How did you know that? Out of all the KFC references, my first answer was like, it's definitely America. But you are absolutely right.
Yes.
So it is Japan.
Travel agent.
Yeah.
असली वाला.
खरंच, कारण मला झालं की KFC somewhere. No.
Yeah. Maybe you can give the reason behind this in the next episode, could be?
Yeah.
We
that's
can keep
good
a
idea.
suspense.
Yeah. Because why
Yeah.
would you eat KFC on a Christmas?
थोड़ा suspense रखेंगे.
Yeah. So.
So my turn.
Yeah.
So, I won't test your knowledge right now.
Thank you.
But I'll ask you something which will probably tell us a little more about you.
Okay.
So what is the one must-have thing that you will put in your bag, and what is the one absurd thing that you will put in your bag when you're traveling?
Must have is identification, either your passport or your traveling ticket. Thank God I've never forgotten those two very important things yet. So yeah, must have is passport and ticket. Absurd is I tend to overpack and absurdly overpack. For example, wherever I'm going, I'm scared that it's going to rain and I'm not going to have extra pair of clothes.
Oh.
So it's a very absurd insecurity that I carry with myself, and to cover that, I take really
Backup's a backup.
Backup's a backup. I will carry a raincoat. I am a little.
But I think there are a lot of female viewers who will say that's not absurd, that's normal.
But it gets.
And I know a
absurd.
few of my male friends also who will say that's not absurd, that's normal.
Really?
Yes.
So I'm not alone in this world. Okay. So my next question to you is, which Indian city is known as the city of lakes?
Oh, this is an easy one. This is Udaipur.
You know your geography so well. What's like the most common destination you have sent your travel partners?
I think internationally it's probably going to be Sri Lanka and
okay.
a little bit of, I won't say Europe, but more to Switzerland. So internationally Switzerland and Sri Lanka, and domestically it's hands down Rajasthan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hands down Rajasthan. Closely followed by Gujarat.
Great. So on that note, we are finishing. Ending. Ending is the new beginning.
And
Or this.
all good things have to end for a new to begin.
Exactly.
बहुत deep हो गया.
बहुत deep हो गया. So like we'll continue this journey.
Yes.
Together, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. So please like, share, subscribe.
And also let us know via comments how are you liking it.
Yes.
And if you want us to cover anything specific, or
Yeah.
if you want to know anything more, then do let us know in your comments. We look forward to them, and see you in the next episode.